I begin today by acknowledging traditional owners of the lands on which our health service operates. We Grampians Health acknowledge the Jaburong, Wotjobaluk, Jadwa, Jadwajali, Wagaya, Chatgulk, and Wadawurrung peoples, the traditional custodians of the lands on which our health service operates throughout the Gariwerd Grampians region, across the Central Highlands, and their connections to land, waterways and community. Grampians Health pays respect to their elders, past and present, and extends that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Grampians Health recognises and values the contributions that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples make in our society. Sovereignty has never been ceded. It always was and always will be Aboriginal land. I'd like to begin with some acknowledgements and introductions and also some apologies. We're joined today, and if I miss anyone, please excuse me, but we have Catherine Colbert, Board President of West Wimmera Health Service, Richie Dodds, the CEO of West Wimmera Health Services, the Northern Grampians Shire Council Mayor, Kevin Irwin, and councillors Karen Hislop, Lauren Dempsey, Trevor Greedy, and the CEO, Brent McAllister, I think is here. Welcome. I'd also like to welcome and introduce Pam Byron, the President of the Stawell Hospital Ladies Auxiliary. Pam? Thanks for being here, Pam. We've received apologies from the Honourable Catherine King, Member for Ballarat, Emma Keeley, Member for Lowan, Arthur Haylett, Member for Ripon, Julia Addison, Member for Wendouree, Michaela Settle, Member for Buninyong. I received yesterday an apology from Graham Ellen, the Chair of the Trustees of the Stawell Regional Health Foundation. I'd also like to take a moment and would ask each Director of Grampians Health to stand when I introduce you and introduce them as the Board itself. First, Mari Aitken, who's our Deputy Chair and also chairs Primary Care and Population Health Advisory Committee. Heather Pickard is the chair of our Board Quality and Safety Committee. Avril Hogan chairs our People and Culture Committee. Meg Raj Thakkar chairs the Audit and Risk Committee. Anthony Shack chairs the Infrastructure and IT Committee. David Anderson chairs the Finance Committee. And our other directors are Rian Jones, Dr. Nick Jones, and Cora Travato. And as I said earlier, you'll have the opportunity with our refreshments to continue a conversation with the directors who will be here after we finish the formal part of the meeting. Each of my fellow directors has connections with healthcare in our community. They served on the boards of both Grampians Health and the predecessor organisations that formed Grampians Health. Those, as you know, those predecessor organisations were Edenhope, Wimmera Healthcare Group, Stawell Regional Health, and Ballarat Health Services. I'd like to thank each of my fellow directors for their dedication, expertise, and leadership of Grampians Health for the support they have extended to me as Chair. Thank you, Directors. Grampians Health was formed on 1 November 2021, about 15 months ago. It was an amalgamation of those 4 health services. And it has a simple goal. By coming together, we are going to ensure that where you live does not determine the quality of health that you receive. Where you live does not determine the quality of health that you receive. Together, we're able to deliver higher quality and safer care to all people across the Grampians region. As I'll outline today, we are working step by step to make that a reality, all to see and experience. Much has already been written about the current state of the healthcare system. The past few years have been some of the most challenging times that I and others around me can recall. Throughout the COVID pandemic, still today, Grampians Health provided exemplary care to our community that cannot be underestimated. This care has seen some of the highest levels of second and third dose vaccination rates, which provide tremendous protection to our community. So we've done very well in relation to COVID protection measures. However, COVID has caused substantial challenges to how we have delivered our services, placed incredible pressure on our workforce. The impact on our team cannot be understated. I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of our nearly 7,000 staff for the work they do day in, day out to protect our community. It will take a considerable period of time to return to normal operations. We've already begun that journey. Indeed, however, what once we considered normal, never been normal again. The commitment we made in the formation of Grampians Health was to report back to our communities in our progress in relation to the amalgamation. We entered into this partnership with the support, input and vested interests of community members and healthcare partners. We take this opportunity, this responsibility very seriously. And today I'm pleased to release our Grampians Health 12-month report. This report updates the 6-month report we issued last year, and it highlights what we agreed to focus on in coming together, how we have made progress in achieving those goals. I believe everyone who's here today has a copy of that report available to them, a hard copy, and a copy is available on the website. Over the course of today's address, I will highlight various aspects of that report, as well as some of our future priorities. I would encourage you all to access and take a look at that report. Full and in more detail about our progress over the past year. It details it very, very comprehensively. Leaving that report aside for the moment, I can confirm that the past 12 months has been an exceptionally busy one for Grampians Health. During the year, we developed and launched our new strategic plan and developed a comprehensive clinical services plan. Both of these documents will guide our services for many years to come as we continue in our aspiration to be a trusted, progressive, and innovative leader in rural and regional healthcare. The strength of these plans comes from the fact that we were able to start afresh as a new organisation. We sought and received input from staff, our stakeholders across our rural and regional communities. The plans are living, breathing documents that will guide us as we develop our services for all our communities. Already these plans are having a difference in a number of important ways. First, in terms of capital projects. In the past year, Grampians Health has commenced work on more than $70 million worth of projects across all our sites. This investment reflects a commitment to investing in our capacity at each of our sites to ensure that our services are local and accessible. A few highlights of this program. An $800,000 upgrade to the urgent care centre at Edenhope is underway, so that Edenhope residents can be cared for in Edenhope. We've commenced building staff accommodation and site infrastructure works at Horsham, so that staff won't take up valuable ill accommodation in Horsham and will be able to stay close to the hospital site. Planning has commenced for theatre upgrade works here at Stawell, in order to recommence overnight stays and increase the amount of day surgeries completed right here in Stawell. That means a second theatre here in Stawell. We've commenced an early parenting centre at Ballarat, where families can seek support for their young children when previously they had to travel to Melbourne. A key highlight for me was the completion and opening of the Lakes Hostel in Edenhope, which was substantially supported through local philanthropy, including the incredible generosity of the Caro family. I had the very great pleasure in attending the opening of this state-of-the-art care facility by the then Minister of Health, Honourable Martin Foley. As a result, we have seen more people from Edenhope and surrounds able to stay and be cared for locally. Occupancy is up almost 60% over the last 12 months as a direct result of the investment in this service. These commitments are in addition to the $541 million Ballarat Base Hospital redevelopment project, which has progressed over the past year and remains on track for completion in 2027. Our two major plans have also made a difference in terms of clinical safety. Last year, Grampians Health developed and adopted an organisation-wide clinical governance framework. The board's highest priority is delivering healthcare to our community in the safest possible way. The clinical governance framework provides a clear pathway on how we can develop and deliver services that are clinically appropriate and safe. Indeed, the plan has already resulted in demonstrable safer care. During the year, a cluster of adverse clinical outcomes were identified at one of our sites. This resulted in active revision of clinical services to identify the cause of these adverse outcomes. This led to remediation action to improve our services and lessen the clinical risk to our community. Grampians Health will not waver from the ultimate goal of clinical safety. Pleasingly, the improvements to care have been made and our safer services have returned to this site and will continue to flourish. Another key difference coming from our plans is in terms of clinical service planning. We completed the clinical services plan during the year. This plan will guide the development of our clinical services over the next decade and beyond. One area identified is the need for further growth in maternity services for women in the Wimmera. In response to this, we established a public access maternity clinic in Horsham. This clinic provides both ante and postnatal care, ensuring that women can access free specialist care closer to home. The service has proved to be incredibly popular for the expectant mums and dads of our community. The clinical services plan has also identified a growth opportunity for surgery across our region to ensure that surgical care closer to home could be the reality for our community. During the year, we welcomed Dr. Farabee Ling as an orthopaedic surgeon in Horsham, Mr. James Gallagher as a general surgeon. We recently welcomed back from maternity leave Dr. Nikki Campbell, also as a local general surgeon. These surgeons will add substantial local capacity to our region. Beyond this, we are working hard on doubling our theatre capacity here at Stawell, as I mentioned. By increasing the number of operating theatres at Stawell to 2, to where it used to be, back to 2, we aim to complete an additional 1,800 surgeries a year right here at Stawell. Increasing our surgery capacity at our Wimmera sites, Horsham and Stawell, is a vital component in increasing the accessibility of locals to receive care in their communities. Our plans have also made a key difference in terms of our staff. The demands on our workforce capability remains a specific challenge that we are working hard on. The development of an enrolled nurse traineeship program is an example of just one of the programs that we have launched over the past year. This program is a 2-year program across Edenhope, Horsham and Stawell campuses. It aims to help prospective nurses fulfil their nursing dream without having to leave their hometown. So far, 19 trainees have commenced the program and are paid while they learn, gain skills and expertise across numerous clinical departments. Just last week, we announced the reintroduction of nursing students at Stawell. This year, Stawell will host 118 nursing students, which hopefully will give more opportunities for local school leavers to join the health profession at their local health service. While my focus here today relates to Stawell nursing students, this activity is happening across all of our sites, which in time should give us additional options for clinical staff to learn, train, work and live locally. A key goal of Grampians Health is the growing and training of a highly skilled workforce. Also, we are seeing growth in our workforce and an increase in our capabilities. Already we're seeing growth. Both are essential to our goal to grow our care capability locally. In 2022, we commissioned design group Mass Motion to create a short-term domestic and international recruitment campaign to help fill vacant clinical positions across Grampians Health campuses. That is, doctors, nurses, specialist medical and allied health staff. Rather than explaining the campaign too much, I thought it would be better to show you an advertisement which ran locally and internationally. I think you'll agree it captures the heart of the Grampians region, working at Grampians Health. So far, this recruitment campaign has led to 108 new staff being hired into a range of clinical and administrative positions.
Our communities are growing. We are part of the thriving. We care for one another, right from the beginning and throughout your life. We are surrounded by our families, our friends, and our neighbours. We enjoy the good news with you. Help you find meaning when you are struggling. Sometimes it's hard, but it's always rewarding. The life is in the highest service. Live with the solutions you help create. Thrive with Grampians Health.
I hope you'll see from this advertisement that we are encouraging people to move to the Grampians region and live where they work, in arguably one of the most beautiful regions of Australia. We believe our staff are our greatest asset. They are increasing the ways we acknowledge their dedication and service. While I'm talking about our staff, throughout the year we held more than 250 staff award functions across all of our sites. Those functions were held to acknowledge staff with more than 10 years of service. Incredibly, we had more than 540 staff with more than 10 years of service, including 31 staff, listen to this, 31 staff with more than 40 years of service. In total, the combined service of all recipients amounted to an incredible 9,685 years of service. All that experience and dedication is an incredible asset which we cherish. The innovation level, the strategic plan for our first 3 years, not only challenges us to grow our services locally, it also challenges us to develop our capacity for higher learning and research. Grampians Health is the largest clinical research service in the region. With more than 100 clinical trials underway, our community has access to some of the most cutting-edge advancements in cancer and other research anywhere. A great example of this is that during our first year, Grampians Health researchers were part of a consortia who were successful in being awarded more than $9 million from the Commonwealth Medical Research Future Fund. This funding is to undertake what is known as the DELIVER Research Project. This multi-year project is in conjunction with Deakin University and other collaborators across the Barwon Southwest and Grampians regions. It aims at exploring innovative ways to improve access to healthcare for older Australians in rural and regional settings. The outcomes from this research will have far-reaching effects across our region and has the potential to significantly inform models of care across Australia. These examples are just a few ways in which we are proceeding in our goal to make care for our community safe and accessible. We have much more to do, and I look forward to reporting again at our next AGM our future progress. Turning now to our community. During the year, Grampians Health was privileged to be generously supported by our community in three ways. First, through the establishment of local reference groups. I'm not sure if Amelia Kingston is here. Amelia Kingston is the chair of our Stawell Community Reference Group. We have 4 community reference groups across the region. These groups comprise locals in each of those communities who have both the passion and energy to contribute to health care in their local communities. I would like to take this opportunity to thank each of the CRG members, Needhenhope, Horsham and Dimboola, Stawell and Ballarat. If you want to know more about the CRG, the community reference groups in your community, or to become a member, which we would encourage, details are available at in the packs in your bags, or via the website for those who are here. Secondly, we've benefited enormously from our volunteers. Volunteers are the unsung heroes of any health service, and we are blessed to have so many heroes supporting us. Whether it's driving a car, making a cup of tea, or supporting our junior doctors as a volunteer patient, volunteers make a good health service a great health service. In fact, we could not do what we do without them. If volunteering sounds like something you'd like to know more about, there are some details in the pack, or for those online at our website. We really would like more volunteers. The final group I'd like to acknowledge are our auxiliaries and foundations. I had the very great pleasure of meeting a number of our auxiliary members over the past year, including an opportunity to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of the Queen Elizabeth Ladies Auxiliary in Ballarat. Auxiliaries of Edenhope, Horsham, here in Stawell and Ballarat raise vital funds for local services. We are truly blessed to have them supporting our organisation. Similarly, we are truly fortunate to have the incredible support of donors throughout the fundraising foundations based at Horsham, here at Stawell and Ballarat. Collectively, total donations for last year were over $1.2 million. It is the board's commitment, confirmed in our key governance documents, that funds raised locally must be spent locally. I'll repeat that. Funds raised locally must be spent locally. That is a part of our DNA, of our governance documents, which we have to abide by. The board stands. Projects such as the Lake Hostel in Edenhope, new birthing beds in Horsham, baby scales here in Stawell, or a new bus for residents in Ballarat would not be possible without the work of our foundations and the generosity of donors. To all our community supporters, thank you all. During this past year, Grampians Health was saddened to hear of the death of a number of active staff members. We pay our respects to the families of the following staff, acknowledge the contribution that each of those people made to healthcare in our communities. Those people are David Clifton, Barbara Barron, Carmen Sherry, Tracy Tucker, Anne Belfridge, Gary Hartwell, Samantha Hobbs, Tom Ellis, Teresa Mellings. Each of these individuals made a commitment to healthcare, and we honour their memories today. Finally, from a financial perspective, for the inaugural year of Grampians Health, we recorded a small operating surplus of $355,000. It is the board's goal to achieve a break-even result that we can maximise the breadth and depth of services we offer each year. This financial year's result was heavily impacted by COVID, We've also restricted some activity, specifically in the area of elective surgery. As we return to a post-COVID normal, an important goal of Grampians Health and the broader health sector in Victoria is to catch up on deferred surgery and other services that have been impacted over the last few years. I'd now like to invite one of my fellow directors, great contributor to the board, Leanne Jones, to speak to our next section on Grampians Health Life Governance. Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you so much, Bill, and what a wonderful summation of the work that we've been doing in the last 14 months. The board has established the award of a Life Governor of Grampians Health. The Life Governor Award is the highest award of the organisation and recognises substantial achievement in volunteering, philanthropy or community service. Over the past 4 months, the board has held functions in each of our sites to recognise a number of special people as first Life Governors of Grampians Health. Today, I have the immense honour of announcing the awarding of Life Governorship to another very worthy recipient right here in Stawell. But before I do so, I would like to recap on the award recipients at Edenhope, Horsham and Ballarat. Cecily McFarlane, a long-time Edenhope resident and an active community member, was named as one of the first recipients of Grampians Health's Life Governor Award in recognition of her outstanding contributions to the Edenhope Hospital over many years. Cecily has been volunteering at Edenhope Hospital for over 35 years and has also spent many years as a member of the Edenhope District Memorial Hospital Ladies Auxiliary, a great deal of that time as president. Throughout her life, Cecily has volunteered many hours to raise funds for the hospital, including opening her garden for the annual Hospital Auxiliary Garden Walk fundraiser on several occasions. Cecily has also volunteered as a member of the previous Edenhope District Memorial Health Consumer Advisory Committee and is a member of the Grampians Health Edenhope Community Reference Group. As an active member of the Edenhope community, she has a broad understanding of the community's needs and lends a strong voice to the CRG. Cynthia Knight. Our next recipient is from Horsham, who has been volunteering with the Wimmera-based Hospital Ladies Auxiliary for 30 years. As a young girl growing up on Clear Lake Farm, Cynthia remembers travelling into town and seeing the Horsham Hospital Ladies Auxiliary caravan park in the CBD, where they would sell raffle tickets to raise money. Even at a young age, she was impressed by the dedication of these community-minded people stepping up to support their local health service. Cynthia was involved with the famous fashion parades held by the auxiliary and a collector for the Horsham Op Shop. She is also renowned for the powder puffs that she has baked for every major fundraiser, sometimes baking 300 at a time and causing a scramble over who would get the last powder puff. Barry Nixon commenced volunteering with Ballarat Health Services across the Volunteer Liaison Group, Emergency Department and in residential aged care at Steele Horton for the past 12 years and 8 months. In 2019, he was awarded the Ballarat Health Service Volunteer of the Year in recognition of more than 10 years spent volunteering in mental health. Aside from being an active member of the Consumer Partnership Program since early 2000, Barry was also Ballarat Health Service Volunteer Occupational Health and Safety Representative and has demonstrated a passion for consumer healthcare and services. Barry has been a dedicated member of our volunteer team with a passion for all things. Bernadette O'Loughlin. Bernadette has been a part of the Ballarat Regional Integrated Cancer Centre, the BRIC, driving team and held the position of team leader from 2017 to 2022. In addition, she has volunteered for the Emergency Department Volunteer Simulated Patient Program and as a member of the Grampians Health Volunteer Liaison Group. During her time as team leader at the BRIC, the group was also awarded the Ballarat Health Service Values Award in 2021. She was also part of the volunteer liaison group when they won the 2018 Australasian Association of Volunteer Managers Team Award for Excellence. Bernadette has a passion for giving back to the local region, volunteering with our health service. We thank her for her time and dedication. The Queen Elizabeth Centre Ladies Auxiliary. The QEC Ladies Auxiliary had humble beginnings in 1922 when they started with 3 donations of 5 guineas each. It helped furnish the Ballarat and District Benevolent Home. Since then, the QEC Ladies Auxiliary has hosted innumerable activities to raise funds to purchase essential equipment, including an X-ray machine. And over the years, the QEC Ladies Auxiliary have brightened the lives of many residents through picnics, lunches and other social events, in addition to addressing the spiritual and emotional needs of many residents. The award was accepted by Chair Marlene Fry, who hopes that this will help to shine a light on the work of the auxiliary for future members to show their support also. So what a wonderful group of worthy recipients that I've just shared with you today. But today I have the honour and the privilege to be able to announce that we have an award for a Life Governor of Grampians Health, and today we are conferring that upon Mr. Peter Martin. Peter, would you like to come to the front row and embarrass you, or do you want to stay seated?
Allowed to do that 40 years ago, weren't we?
Okay. Peter was a board member at Stawell Regional Health for 18 years, including 4 years as board chair. He is currently a member of the Consumer Reference Group, where his significant knowledge of clinical governance is proving invaluable to a group who are relatively new to this work. Peter takes great pride in everything he does, especially at the health service. Peter even attends the hospital Christmas party, where he readily is willing to help set up and pat all of the staff, reflecting and respectful in the way that he encourages us to make the health service great. Peter is very well known in both the health service community and the wider community here in Stawell, and is always using positive language to promote the service, even during difficult times. A number of staff, including me, attended school here when Peter was principal. Peter is a member of a service club and is vastly involved in community events. He is currently looking at being involved as a consumer with Safer Care Victoria in the Adverse Event Review team. Peter attends events for the community and staff hosted by the Health Service. He has also been involved in Grampians Health consultations and is a positive advocate for the amalgamation and work in offer. Recently, Peter was the consumer representative on the review team for a serious adverse event. His participation was remarkable for his ability to positively advocate for the consumer and the community in the way we structured our recommendations. He was able to ask the hard questions in a respectful way that ensured accountability and the upholding of our organisational values. Peter has now offered to be available to any part of Grampians Health where a consumer representative is needed for a review team, and he is exploring the option of joining Safer Care Victoria peer platform, for this also involves specific training in adverse event review. Congratulations, Peter.
Couple of things. Those who know me, including you, will know that I don't resist the opportunity to say a few words. So, thank you very much, Rhiannon, and thank you, Carol and Bill, and the board for the honour that you have done. I'm not sure I deserve it. I thought the pinnacle of local acceptance and honour was to be asked to join the board here 22 years ago, because I'm not a local. I've been installed for 40 years, but that doesn't make you a local. I thought being asked to join the board of the local hospital, oh, I'm getting there slowly, I thought. And then eventually, with the effluxion of time, they made me chair of the board, and I thought, oh, crikey, I might have made it now. And I stuck around for quite a while, and it was one of the proudest achievements of my professional career, and it still is. Now, to join the ranks of those who've been made a life governor, and okay, I'll get used to Grampians Health eventually, but for me it's Stawell Regional Health, is really far and away above where I thought I would ever end up in this place. I'm also good at breaking things. One of my grandchildren was here, she'd say, there you go again. So, as you discovered, Rhiannon, poor soul, was one of my students, and it's been a great privilege to watch Leanne as she's moved on to the board and then moved on to greater things. And I have every confidence in her and will continue to support her in whatever she wants to do. I'll just make a couple of other very quick comments. To look at the honour board and see the names of former presidents of the board here, and then to look at the list of life governors. There are some really illustrious names among them, and I don't really feel I'm a scratch on any of them. But I won't have a street named after me, for example, or a location or a building, and there are plenty of those who've been involved with already. I keep saying this place. Well, this used to be my place once, but in a different context. Their relationship with Stawell Regional Health in some cases goes back generations and has involved commitment of time and money and particularly energy to make sure that we had the very best health services in this town that could possibly be here. And I take my hat off to those people. What I've done is comparatively meagre compared with people whose names shine out wherever you look in the town. And I won't live long enough for that to happen to me. Nor would I want it to, because their company is too high for me. The second thing is we are going through a period of difficulty at the moment. And if I could presume to give some advice based on my life experience, which was education, as most of you know, then health, and then moved into justice, and particularly, no, I won't go into all of that, but areas where I was a consumer representative and hopefully asking the hard questions and the right questions in a respectful way. So that encompassed health, and you hear, for example, of APRA, the regulatory body that manages or regulates health. Yes, I was part of that too, and I'm well aware of its deficiencies and weaknesses and the need for reform in that particular area, which I hope will come. And finally ended up, much to my children's surprise, dealing with sex offenders. Now that's a whole new world that many of you, fortunately, will never have anything to do with. But again, it's a place where people need to ask the right difficult questions, and they are difficult, believe me. Finally, my 2 words of advice are communication and perceptions, and I plead with the board and the management to understand that constant open communication and dealing with people's perceptions, particularly those who have a lifelong commitment to the organisation. I plead with you to take note, to listen to them, to speak with them, to be physically present as often as you can, and be prepared to be guided into perhaps wiser ways if that's necessary. It's a lesson that I learned as a principal of a secondary school. I had at one stage 700 students, all of whom knew how to run the place better than me. About 100 staff, and goodness me, about 300 or 400, perhaps even more parents. And I used to be corrected often and had to swallow my pride and think of doing things in a different way from time to time. And I think that adds strength to leadership, to be able to say, well, I am communicating, I'm sharing the load with the people who are most concerned, that's you people, and my own ego should go in the hip pocket. So you couldn't expect me, could you, to not talk without a few headmasterly comments? Well, I left the script over there. Yeah, well, I could start here again. But I do thank you for the honour you've given me, and I wish everyone here well for the future.
Thank you so much, Peter, for the recipient. I would now like to hand back to Bill to conclude the proceedings.
Thanks, Rhiannon. And congratulations again, Peter, and thank you for the wise counsel. It is very wise. The first year of Grampians Health has been exceptionally busy. The second year promises to be equally busy, if not busier. As we transition out of the COVID environment, our focus this year will be on delivering against the strategic plan. Please allow me to describe some of the major priorities being advanced by the board in the coming year. Late 2022, a comprehensive business case was submitted to the government to ensure that Grampians Health can deploy an electronic medical record. This $100 million multi-year project will substantially advance clinical safety, not only in Grampians Health hospitals, but across all hospitals in the Grampians region. The ability for clinicians to see and share real-time clinical information creates an environment of safer patient care, allowing clinicians to have immediate access to the most up-to-date information about patients' care needs. We continue to advocate strongly for an investment by the state to enable the implementation of this system. We hope to know within the next coming months. As well, during the year, the board will be considering a comprehensive people and culture plan. This plan is more than just how many staff we need. It will cover how we provide a safe work environment, how we support and train our staff, our commitment to building an inclusive, varied workplace welcoming to people of all backgrounds, and how we create an environment where staff are engaged and able to work to the fullest capacity they have and can. Workforce is the major asset of any healthcare service. We want to ensure that we can support the people who, in turn, provide exceptional support in our community. Come back to staff in a little bit. As well, we'll be continuing to deliver on the opportunities identified in the amalgamation business case. Our 12-month report, which you've got, highlights some of our achievements so far, but more is needed. Over the course of the next 12 months, we'll continue to drive the opportunities now available to us as one of the largest regional health services in Australia. Focus will continue to be centred around increasing accessibility of care for our community. sustaining and growing our workforce, and being a valued collaborator and partner across the Grampians region. I'd like to share with you a story that shows the impact that we are making on the people of this region. In 2022, we established a new model for patients receiving chemotherapy to have the option to receive this care at home. We know that receiving chemo at home reduces the stress and emotional impact people face when they have cancer. Already, 105 people have chosen this option. It means people can now stay in their own home rather than endure regular trips to hospital for chemotherapy. Over the course of this year, we aim to provide this service to the communities of Maryborough, Stawell and Horsham. And I want to add that this is an add-on, not taking away and adding something instead of. Cancer treatment and support services will continue, and this chemotherapy at home will be an additional service. We've been on a path of rapid growth, change and innovation over the past year. This has been undertaken alongside our core work of providing care to 300,000 Victorians, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We've completed 12,000 surgical operations, delivered 1,700 babies, treated more than 75,000 people throughout our emergency and urgent care centres, provided care to more than 600 nursing home residents every day. And who delivers that? Our staff. Our staff are to be congratulated, treated with respect, looked after by us and by our community. Without our staff, we cannot operate. Any staff member who hears a bad story, reads it in the paper, happens to read Hansard in Parliament, gets the wrong idea, means that they're not going to get up every morning and not coming to work. So let's look after our staff. Let's congratulate them every time we see them. Let's thank them every time we see them, because they're the true heroes. Staff. Grampians Health, we believe that regional and rural Victorians deserve quality health services, no matter where you live. We are a large multi-campus organisation, but we are one unified team. Our collective goal is to provide an integrated model of care that always puts people first, ensuring that they receive personalised, compassionate care every time. Every time. Every campus, in every site, in every service we provide, the standard that we apply in the east will be the standard that we apply in the west. Everyone, our aim is to provide the same service to everyone in our communities and everyone in our country. In closing, I'd like to thank once again our staff, our volunteers and our community for the support provided to Grampians Health. In particular, I want to thank our CEO, Dale Fraser, for his leadership and also his executive team for their hard work and continued successes. I want to thank again my fellow directors for their passion and skill in steering us towards our goals. Last but not least, to reiterate our core goal, Grampians Health. The reason why we are all here and why we get up every day. That is to deliver quality care to our community through safe, accessible, connected health services. If over the next 12 months you want to check up on our progress or to access the material that I've talked about today, I remind you to continue to check our website, social media pages for